Dr. Emily Carter wiped her brow as she finished examining a rare and exotic animal at her bustling Earth clinic. The day had been long, filled with unique challenges and rewarding successes. She was just about to close up when a strange humming noise filled the room. Emily looked up to see a shimmering blue hologram of a tall, elegant alien. "Dr. Carter, I presume?" The hologram intoned in perfect English. "I am Zarok, representative of the Zorban Zoo. We have a proposition for you." Emily blinked in surprise, but quickly regained her composure. "Yes, I'm Dr. Carter. What can I do for you?" Zarok's eyes twinkled with a mix of urgency and excitement. "We require your expertise. Our zoo on Planet Zorban houses the most exotic and rare creatures from across the galaxy. However, many of our animals are suffering, and we believe your skills could save them. We offer a generous contract for your services." Intrigued by the opportunity to work with alien species and the promise of adventure, Emily didn't hesitate. "I accept. When do I leave?" "Immediately," Zarok replied with a nod. "Prepare yourself for transport." In a flash of light, Emily found herself standing in the middle of the Zorban Zoo's sprawling high-tech facility. The air was filled with strange melodious sounds, and the sight of various alien creatures took her breath away. She was greeted by Zilgar, the ambitious and somewhat smug director of the zoo. "Welcome, Dr. Carter," Zilgar said, extending a clawed hand. "We've heard much about your talents. I trust you will find our facilities up to your standards." Emily shook his hand, her eyes already scanning the surroundings. "Thank you, Zilgar. I'm eager to get started. Where do I begin?" Zilgar led her through the zoo, showcasing a variety of creatures, each more astonishing than the last. "We have a multitude of species in need of your care. Our previous veterinarian struggled to understand their unique biology. I hope you can do better." Emily approached the first enclosure, containing a large luminescent creature with 6 legs and vibrant shimmering scales. It was clearly in distress, its breathing labored. Emily's heart went out to the suffering animal, and she immediately began her examination. "Tell me everything you know about this species," she instructed Zilgar and the team of alien veterinarians who had gathered to watch her work. As she listened to their explanations, Emily realized the extent of the challenge she faced. Each species had complex and unfamiliar biological systems. But she was determined. She used her extensive knowledge and a bit of Earth-based ingenuity to devise a treatment plan. Over the next few days, Emily worked tirelessly, applying her methods and learning from each interaction. Her first successes came slowly but surely, and the once skeptical alien veterinarians began to admire her resourcefulness and dedication. One evening, as she was finishing up, Zilgar approached her with a rare smile. "Your methods are unconventional, Dr. Carter, but the results speak for themselves. The animals are already showing signs of improvement." Emily felt a surge of pride. "Thank you, Zilgar. I'm here to help, and I'll do whatever it takes to ensure these creatures thrive." Emily Carter had settled into her routine at the Zorban Zoo, but the challenges were only just beginning. Each day brought new, unexpected hurdles as she worked with the diverse alien species. Despite her extensive knowledge, the unique nature of these creatures tested her abilities in ways she had never imagined. Early one morning, she approached the enclosure of a large chameleon-like creature with bioluminescent skin. It had been refusing food for days, and its condition was deteriorating. Emily carefully observed its behavior, taking notes and asking her team for any relevant data they had collected. "Zarok, have we noticed any patterns in its behavior or changes in the environment?" Emily inquired, her brow furrowed in concentration. Zarok, her alien assistant, nodded. "Yes, Dr. Carter. The light cycles have been inconsistent. We believe it may be affecting its feeding habits." Emily pondered this information. "Let's try regulating the light cycles more closely. In the meantime, I'll prepare a nutritional supplement that might help." Days turned into nights, as Emily tirelessly worked on devising solutions for each unique problem. She spent hours in the lab, mixing compounds and testing their efficacy. Her innovative treatments started to show results, and the animals began to recover. The chameleon-like creature, now thriving under the regulated light cycles, was just one success story among many. The zoo staff began to see Emily not just as an outsider, but as an integral part of their team. Her methods were unorthodox, but her results were undeniable. Slowly, skepticism turned to admiration. She was becoming a beacon of hope for both the animals and the staff. One afternoon, as Emily was reviewing some data, Zilgar approached her, looking unusually concerned. "Dr. Carter, I've received reports of increased aggression among some of the healthier animals. They're becoming difficult to manage." Emily looked up, worry etching her features. "Aggression? What species are we talking about?" "The Draclons," Zilgar replied. "They've started displaying territorial behavior, and the enclosures are barely containing them." Emily knew the Draclons were one of the more dangerous species in the zoo. Large reptilian beasts with razor-sharp claws and a propensity for dominance, they were a challenge even when they were unwell. Now, in peak health, they were becoming unmanageable. "We need to reassess their environment," Emily said decisively. "Enhanced health means increased strength and activity. We'll have to expand their enclosures and add more enrichment to keep them occupied." Zilgar hesitated. "That will require significant resources." Emily met his gaze, her expression firm. "It's necessary for their well-being and our safety. I'll draft a proposal outlining the changes needed." In the following days, Emily worked closely with her team to design more suitable habitats for the Draclons. They implemented environmental enrichment techniques to keep the creatures engaged and reduce their aggression. It was a complex task, but Emily's dedication and expertise made it possible. Despite the mounting challenges, Emily found solace in the small victories. Each success, no matter how minor, reinforced her belief in her mission. Her bond with the animals deepened, and she learned to communicate with them in ways that transcended species barriers. One evening, as Emily was about to leave the lab, Zarok approached her. "Dr. Carter, your work here is transforming this zoo. The animals are thriving because of you." The Zorban Zoo buzzed with activity as Emily Carter and her team hustled to keep up with the zoo's rapidly improving inhabitants. The once ailing creatures were now robust and vibrant, showcasing the remarkable success of Emily's treatments. However, this newfound vitality came with unexpected challenges. One morning, Emily was jolted awake by a blaring alarm. She quickly dressed and rushed to the control room, where Zarok was already monitoring a chaotic scene on the screens. "What happened?" Emily demanded, eyes wide with concern. Zarok pointed to a screen, showing a massive luminescent beast, the one they had treated weeks earlier, rampaging through its enclosure. "The containment field failed. The creature's strength has increased beyond our expectations." Emily's heart sank. "We need to tranquilize it and secure the area." "Where are the emergency teams?" "They're on their way," Zarok replied, his voice tight with tension. Emily sprinted to the enclosure, where the scene was pure pandemonium. The creature's thrashing had caused significant damage, and the staff was struggling to contain it. Emily grabbed a tranquilizer gun and aimed carefully. "Steady. Steady," she whispered to herself, then fired. The dart struck the creature, and after a few moments, it began to slow, eventually collapsing into a peaceful slumber. As the emergency teams moved in to secure the creature, Zilgar arrived, his face a mix of frustration and concern. "Dr. Carter, this is unacceptable. The zoo cannot afford such incidents." Emily stood her ground. "Zilgar, the animals are getting stronger because they're healthier. We need to upgrade their enclosures to handle their new capabilities. Ignoring this issue will only lead to more problems." Zilgar scowled, but couldn't argue with the evidence before him. "Fine. Draft a proposal for the necessary upgrades, but keep costs in mind. With the immediate crisis averted, Emily gathered her team for a strategy session. We need to rethink our approach, she began. Enhanced health means increased strength and intelligence. We must ensure the enclosures can handle this. The team brainstormed solutions, discussing materials and designs that could withstand the animals' newfound vigor. Emily worked late into the night, drafting a comprehensive plan for upgrading the zoo's infrastructure. Over the next few days, the zoo's construction teams began reinforcing enclosures, adding new barriers, and implementing advanced containment measures. The animals, sensing the changes, grew curious, but remained cooperative under Emily's watchful eye. Despite the hectic pace, Emily found moments of calm and connection with the creatures. One evening, she sat by the enclosure of a draclon, observing its behavior. The once aggressive beast now seemed more content, exploring its enhanced habitat with interest. "You're getting stronger, aren't you?" Emily murmured, a smile tugging at her lips. The draclon glanced at her, its eyes showing a glimmer of understanding. Meanwhile, Zilgar monitored the progress with a critical eye. While he was pleased with the increased visitor numbers and the positive attention the zoo was receiving, he remained wary of the costs associated with the upgrades. One afternoon, as Emily was overseeing the final touches on a new enclosure, Zilgar approached her. "Your changes are impressive, Dr. Carter. The zoo is operating more smoothly, and the animals seem happier." Emily nodded, wiping sweat from her brow. "It's a team effort, Zilgar. We're all committed to making this work." Zilgar gave a rare smile. "Keep it up. The future of this zoo depends on it." The upgrades at the Zorban Zoo were in full swing. Enclosures were reinforced, new containment fields were installed, and environmental enrichment was enhanced to keep the animals engaged. Emily Carter felt a sense of progress, but she knew the work was far from over. One morning, the tranquility was shattered by urgent alarms. Emily rushed to the control room, where Zarok was frantically monitoring the screens. "It's the draclons," Zarok reported. "They've breached their enclosure and are causing havoc." Emily's heart raced. The draclons were among the most dangerous creatures in the zoo, and their escape posed a serious threat. She grabbed a tranquilizer gun and sprinted to the scene. When she arrived, the sight was chaotic. The draclons, now larger and more formidable, were rampaging through the zoo. Emily quickly took charge, directing the staff to secure visitors and clear the area. "Zarok, get the emergency team to set up a perimeter," Emily commanded. "We need to contain them before they reach the main gate." The team moved swiftly, their training kicking in. Emily approached the lead draclon cautiously. It snarled, baring its razor-sharp teeth, but she remained calm. "It's okay, big guy," she murmured, steadying her aim. "We're not here to hurt you." With a swift motion, she fired the tranquilizer dart. The draclon roared, but after a few moments, it began to sway and finally collapsed. Emily and the team quickly moved to tranquilize the other draclons, ensuring they were safely contained. Zilgar arrived, looking pale and shaken. "This is a disaster, Dr. Carter. What are we going to do?" Emily faced him, her expression resolute. "Zilgar, we need to finish the upgrades and ensure this never happens again. The animals are too strong for the old systems." Reluctantly, Zilgar nodded. "You're right. Draft the necessary plans, and we'll get started immediately." The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Emily and her team worked tirelessly to implement the final phase of upgrades. They expanded enclosures, reinforced barriers, and integrated advanced behavioral enrichment to keep the animals stimulated and less prone to aggression. Emily also introduced a new training program for the staff, emphasizing safety protocols and emergency response tactics. The team's morale improved as they felt more prepared and confident in handling the powerful creatures. During a quiet evening, Emily found herself at the draclon enclosure, now secure and tranquil. The lead draclon, awake and calm, approached her, its eyes reflecting a newfound trust. "You're safer now," Emily whispered, reaching out to gently touch its scaled head. "We all are." Zilgar observed from a distance, a thoughtful expression on his face. He approached Emily as she stepped away from the enclosure. "You've done remarkable work, Dr. Carter," Zilgar admitted. "The zoo is thriving because of your efforts." Emily smiled, a sense of fulfillment washing over her. "It's been a team effort, Zilgar. We've all worked hard to make this a success." Zilgar extended his hand. "I'd like you to stay on permanently as the head veterinarian. Your expertise is invaluable." Emily shook his hand firmly. "I'd be honored. There's still so much we can do to make this zoo a sanctuary for these creatures."